Hello, hello! It's Rebecca, and I am here with a very belated September bullet journal setup. Life has been a bit crazy lately with all of the 17 concerts, but I finally got some time to sit down and work on my bullet journal for the month. I forgot to record some of the overhead clips because I was working really quickly, but let's get into it. I actually went to 3 different stops on the North America leg of the 17 Be the Sun World Tour. For my concerts in LA, Chicago, and Toronto, I wanted to make sticker freebies to hand out to cadets, so I designed the stickers based off of 17 songs along with the Spotify code that could be scanned. You can see that the Darling one was inspired by my bullet journal theme for last month, and for September I decided to choose my design for a world and recreate it as a bullet journal theme. Starting on the center of the cover page, I sketched out the doodles of the plane and the world. I wanted to keep to the 17 colors of rose quartz and serenity, so I used rose quartz for the land and the color similar to serenity for the water on the doodle of the world. For the most part, I kept the plane white, but I added some light blue for the windows and light gray for shading on the plane to match the sticker I had made. Finally, I wanted to add a bit more of a pop of color to the theme, so I tried out an orange Archer and Olive acrylograph pen for the first time. I wanted to draw the path of the plane on the page, but I realized that the path drawn could be seen as a backwards letter S, so we'll pretend that it was intentional to stand for 17. Underneath the doodle, I took the same acrylograph pen and I tried to mimic the font used in the logo for World. It is similar to a script serif font, but it has a few stars on the ends of the serifs. The title of the song is stylized with an underscore at the front as well, so I added an underscore before writing the name of the month, September, on the page. When looking at this font, you can see that some of the letters have a few thicker vertical lines, and then I replaced some of the ends of the lines with the stars. Once I finished the letters, I also took a black fineliner and drew a thin drop shadow on the bottom right of the letters just to make sure that the title stood out more on the page. Next on the song lyric page, I accidentally forgot to record the overhead camera view, but I started out doing a lowercase version of the title font on the cover with just extending the lines of the words outwards and adding stars to either ends of the words cause and dreaming. The entirety of the lyrics on the page are actually English lyrics in the song, and they read, "'Cause I know that you've been dreaming." I think that the lyrics of this song are really fun and invite their fans to join this new journey of theirs, and this line stuck out to me because it almost knows that we are excited to go on this journey. I feel like I've also been dreaming a lot recently of where I'd like to see myself in the future. Overall, this is a very fun and catchy song, and the music video is very pretty, so definitely watch it if you haven't already. Back to the page, I used a thin black fineliner to draw the drop shadow on the bottom and right side of the script font again, and I wrote out the other lyrics in a simple and small uppercase sans serif font. It got a bit cut off by the angle of the camera, but I drew a paper airplane at the top right above the lyrics and took the Serenity colored marker to draw a dotted line for the path of the paper airplane around the page. Finally, I used 2 shades of light pink to color the paper airplane. Overall, the first 2 pages were very minimalistic, but with how busy I've been with the travel, I think that the spreads were perfect. Moving on to the monthly spread, I started with the same title from the cover page and then drew the same paper airplane from the song lyric page underneath the title. Next, I wanted to draw the calendar on the page, but this is another clip that was missing from the overhead view. Overall, I kept it very similar to previous months by highlighting the top of the calendar for the days of the week in the same pink from the paper airplane doodle. Then, in each of the boxes, I highlighted where I would write the date, but I alternated each row between a lighter pink for the color rose quartz and a blue for serenity. Lastly, all I had to do was draw the outlines of the calendar with a fineliner and use a pen to write out the days of the week at the top and the dates on the calendar. Now the fun part of this spread is the section that I made for writing about my concert experience in Toronto. On the top of this section, I drew a mini boarding pass with information about my Toronto concert that happened earlier in September. On the top of the pass, I drew a logo for the world and then wrote the name of the tour, Be the Sun. A lot of the information on the boarding pass is actually accurate, like my name, the to and from, the date, and my section, row, and seat number from the Toronto concert. Other information that you might see on a boarding pass I had to improvise, like for the flight number, I used my favorite member's birthday. So Shuminghao's birthday is November 7th, and I put 1107 as the flight number. Another example is the code at the bottom of the pass. I ended up putting SVT for 17 as well as their debut date, May 26, 2015. I almost forgot to mention, but I also drew a simple barcode on the boarding pass. When all of the doodle was completed, I just added an outline to the section and then I placed a cutout version of my World Spotify sticker on the spread. I especially had a ton of fun doing the boarding pass for this monthly layout. I decided to change it up for the weekly of the spread, so instead of my classic 4-week weekly, we're only doing a 2-week weekly. This spread was inspired by a directional sign that you might see at an airport. To do that, I sectioned off the top area of the page and drew a rectangle in the top left where I would put the gate number and a space on the right for where I would later draw an outline of an airplane. I chose the number 9 for the gate number because September is the 9th month, and then I drew symbols on the signboard for where I would put directional information. I had August and September on the board because this weekly spread included a few days from August as well. Then I drew a symbol of a plane at takeoff and landing so that I could put departure and arrival directions on the board to be more like the sign at an airport. For the first time, I am trying a spread that is more of a running to-do list because I found that I had been doing it on the side anyway. I still wanted a place for timed events and appointments, so I sectioned off an area next to the task list for events. In the event section, I highlighted one side of the boxes where I'll write the day and date. I started using my acrylograph pen and a ruler to draw the outline for the sections, but I found that the acrylograph pens write better without a ruler, so I ended up just freehanding the lines and drawing them as straight as possible. The last thing I added was the days and dates to the event section, and then I was done. While I have a bit more time in this video though, I just wanted to give a brief summary of my experience from my concerts. Overall, I would have to say that 17 has pretty much become my favorite group. I was constantly just so impressed by their performance, charm, and attention to their fans. During soundcheck, I had the opportunity to interact with both Minghao and Hoshi, who are probably my top 2 favorite members in 17. I'll talk more about it in an upcoming vlog from the concert, but Barricade was definitely worth it. I am so incredibly happy still when I think about the concert, and grateful to have been lucky enough to get that opportunity. I truly hope that I can experience it again in the future. Anyway, I'm really excited to use this new weekly spread and to see if the system works better for me. But if you're interested in seeing how I design the other weekly spread for the month, I will be streaming it live on Twitch tomorrow night as I talk about my concert experience. More information can be found on my other socials. Flipping through the pages of the September theme for one last time, I really enjoyed getting to do another theme inspired by a 17 song. World is amazing and reminds me of the concerts, and I hope that this theme will help me to hold on to those memories. I love 17 very much, so thank you for taking the time to watch this. Please continue to stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!